Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and we have the patch notes for the upcoming Sharon Rogers mini update. Now, this update, like the one before for Squirrel Girl and Thanos, will be a rolling patch update. As you can see here, the schedule is for Tuesday, tonight at 8 p.m. Pacific, which is identical to what it was for Thanos and Squirrel Girl. I will be live, but it's going to be a pretty short stream since literally the only thing we can test out is Sharon. That's the whole, by the way, just surprise ahead of time. That's the whole thing here. It's just Sharon, but there is more to talk about because they've also announced some events in anticipation of the anniversary. So we're gonna deep dive into what they're changing for Sharon Rogers. Again, I'll be live tonight at about 10:30, 11 p.m. Eastern time to check out this uniform in person on YouTube here. It should be pretty exciting because she looks really good. I don't want to get too hype right now, but she looks really good. I spent some time comparing the newest uniform to like the oldest uniform, like, you know, whatever, the most recent uniform to this one, to this new one, and it's huge. It's huge. Probably the most exciting thing is that it's going to be 50% off. So they've begun the 50% off deals in anticipation of the anniversary. So for those of you wondering if they were going to skip it this year, or for whatever reason you were getting nervous because they didn't do it for Thanos and Squirrel Girl, bada bing bada boom, here it is. So you can get her uniform for $875 instead of $1050, and all of the optional uniforms for her uniform, which you can actually see right here, all of these will be 50% off as well. Now, I wouldn't recommend buying any of these uniforms. The only one that has any value these days, is, in my opinion, is Blue Dragon. If you have her tier 2 already and then you want to take her up to level 80 or tier 4. However, keep in mind that she does share the exact same qualities as Sharon. They're both female, blast, hero, human, with the leadership ability tag. So yeah, there's not too much difference here. Well, the big difference is that Blue Dragon can be used in PvP, right? With revive and counter attack, iframe ignore, etc. So yeah, but all those uniforms will be 50% off as well. And then the full uniform sale, where all uniforms will be 50% off, will be happening in a couple of weeks. So don't panic there. There we go. As far as Sharon Rogers goes, probably one of the most interesting things that they're doing for her this time around is for the uniform effect. So the chain hit damage is 25%, which I believe is the same on her old uniform. It is. So she's not getting a bump on chain hit damage, but they're quadrupling her damage, her basic damage decrease received. You can see here it's 10%, and they're bumping it up to 40, which is huge. Should make her way tankier, which is awesome. Also, if you notice here, it's kind of hard to see because it's orange on white text, but it says here enhances basic stats. This is really big. She doesn't have this on any of her old uniforms. I did go ahead and check. None of her uniforms enhanced her basic stats, and Sharon already has like really good base stats, so she's gonna hit like a truck. By the way, enhancing base stats is something they started doing for characters like Spider-Man when he got his No Way Home uniform. So this has a history of being a very strong buff. So this should buff her attack stats, you know, her energy attack, her defensive stats like physical defense, energy defense, and then her HP. So it should be pretty exciting. She should, with that and the tier 4, she should get a massive stat bump. So that's really good on the uniform effect. Leadership stays the same. Her passive stays the same. It just, they give her a bit more ignored defense. That's not really anything to write home about. Her tier 2 passive remains basically the same. We can see here, yeah, they just bumped up the, well, actually they bumped up the bonus damage from 20% up to 35. That's actually pretty meaningful right over here. But the ignore dodge at 35% is only 5% more than it was. And then the guaranteed crit rate was actually, actually the guaranteed crit rate was added. That's pretty good. So she didn't have guaranteed crit rate before. That's interesting. She might be better now with a rage. They, I see what they did. They didn't actually increase her damage reduction. They just moved, oh, they're so sneaky. They moved the physical and energy damage reduction on her tier 2 passive over to the uniform. I see. So it's basically the same, unless they're calculated differently. If they're calculated differently, then they might not be the same. It might feel stronger. I don't know. It's either going to be the same or it's going to be stronger. I see. Anywho, as far as her skills go, a couple of things that I noticed. So I'll give you guys the sort of the bad news first. What I noticed is that almost all of her skills have a much lower percentage of damage. So mainly we'll just focus on the 3, 4, and 5 because those skills have, those skills do the most damage. You can see here the third skill deals 85% of her energy attack, then 110, and then 60. And if you go ahead and compare that, so 85, 110, 60. If you go ahead and compare it, this one is 120 instead of 85. So we lost about 15% on that. Or sorry, 35% on that, almost 40%. This one is 145 instead of 110. So that's a reduction of 35%. And then this one is 120. And the new one is 60, which is a loss of half, 60%. Go down from 123 to 60. Now that doesn't mean that she's going to deal less damage. Okay, we can't use this as a barometer for like, okay, she's going to deal less damage because these percentages are lower. But it's just something to keep in mind. They may just be rebalancing her a little bit. Instead of having all of the percentage on the skills, they're bumping up her stats to sort of make up for it. It seems like they're playing around with the numbers a little bit, moving them around on each end. We don't know exactly what's going on. But it's just something to keep in mind. Now, as far that's like sort of not bad news, but like some people might see that and think it's really bad. But I think when you calculate other things, like she has new buffs and she's going to have the base stat increase, like that's going to make her as strong or stronger than before. I'm not saying she's going to be weak. I'm just pointing that out in case people look at that and panic. Okay, now all the good. Check this out. So she's got a V-pad skill on her second now, which is awesome. So you'll be able to move her around. This is really good for defensive purposes. It's also underrated for accumulating, because before, what you had to do and why her playstyle was kind of unattractive to people is you had to sort of choose a spot where you either knew the boss was going to attack you or you guessed the boss was going to attack you in that spot, because her skills don't let her move around, right? And then you would press 3, and then you would press 5, and then you would press 4. And if the boss hit you during that, awesome, you do great damage. If the boss didn't hit you, or you were just outside of the circle that did damage, you wouldn't do very good damage, right? Now with the V-pad, think about it. You can, accumulate with the V-pad by moving her into position. We'll have to wait and see. It may not be proc friendly to do that, but I think it's a very, very interesting, and it also provides the possibility to change her playstyle, because what you can do is for the first rotation, you can skip the third skill. As crazy as that sounds, you skip the accumulation and you just do 4 and 5 and you proc, and then you do 3 after your proc, and then you use 2 to move around and accumulate in anticipation of your next proc. That's really cool. So potentially a new playstyle coming for Sharon. I'm sort of imagining in my head right now. I'm in imagination land, but I think it's really cool that they gave her a V-pad. I'm really happy about that. It also has paralysis. So that's a new effect. That's an ABX effect. You're going to notice this is a common theme for Sharon. Her third skill now gives her burn and silence, whereas the last one did not. As you can see here, it has no negative effects. So now she has burn and silence. She has all 3 effects for ABX. Paralysis, burn, and silence. Boom, done. She's ABX queen now. She's not available for many ABX days, so don't worry. But yeah, she can do them all. And now she also has, she keeps the accumulation, she keeps the damage received, whatever. On her 4th skill now, she gets silence as well. She gets 5 seconds of invincibility instead of 1, which is really good. And then she gets a 60% damage proc. That's pretty scary. Damage procs are very, very good. Characters like Human Torch, Green Goblin. There's lots of characters that have damage procs, and damage procs really bump up your DPS. So them giving her one is pretty nutty. And then her 5th skill, Celestial Strike, which sounds really cool, gives her Snare and Fracture. So she has all 3 ABX skills, and she has 2 out of the 3 ABL skills, because you need Snare, Fracture, and Shock. So they made her a very good option, and it'll be interesting to see which skill she uses as a striker for tier 4s, because then she could be used as a really good striker for tier 4. And if she does really good damage, let's say with her 5th, and she can apply Snare and Fracture, that's going to be huge. She may replace Thor or Cable as the best tier 4 striker for ABL. But yeah, her 5th skill, now it still increases her crit rate by 35%, but now it also heals her for 35%. So they bumped up her heal from 10% to 35%. So they almost quadrupled her heal. That's huge. Really, really good stuff. But that's not all. She's got a 2nd heal now. Let's take a look at her tier 4. So when she uses her striker skill, she's going to heal 15% of her HP for the next 10 seconds. That's insane. So she can overheal 150% of her HP total, even if she's taking insane damage. So she should be way tankier, and you should be able to accumulate even in the craziest circumstances. And then when you use skills, when you use her regular skills, not her auto attack, but like the skills 1 to 5, you increase her basic attack by 10%, and that stacks up to 40. That buff lasts 10 seconds, which is a good amount of time. Obviously, people are going to be kind of unimpressed by a 40% attack buff, but remember, Sharon is one of the hardest hitting characters in the game already. So them giving her this could put her over the top. I want to criticize this tier 4, but I actually think it's really good. It seems balanced for PvE, and it seems to have enough utility where maybe she could be even useful for like Conquest. Who knows? Like, that's a huge heal. I don't know if she's going to be able to survive long enough to pop the tier 4, but if she does survive long enough, that could be the death kiss for a lot of characters. No PvP value for this character outside of maybe something like Conquest, by the way, guys. No iframe ignore, no counter attack, no reflect, nothing like that. So don't read too hard into what I'm saying. But yeah, that's what that is, and that's what that looks like. So I'm pretty excited for Sharon. Should be an instant tier 4 for me and for a lot of other people. Should be quite nice. Now, as far as the rest of the update goes, they're going to be adding an 8-year anniversary card. So they always do this. They always add a new anniversary card. It's a really cute one this time. It's Luna Snow Tiger Division, and she's doing a little heart symbol. This, again, for me, just really indicates that they're going to be dropping tier 4 Luna at some point. I know we haven't seen anything. We haven't seen a uniform or whatever, but we have enough drawings from Danny Koo, and we have so much, like, bro, they chose Luna as the, you know what I mean? It feels like a hint to me. The other good thing I want to point out is this is a really good card for new players. It gives you cooldown and ignore defense. Those are the two most important stats for new players. So if you're a brand new player, or if you're a returning player who doesn't have 5 cards yet, take my list of best free-to-play cards and just deduct the worst one and replace it. So for example, if you went with this list here, I would say you could replace either the Star-Lord card or the Groot card or the Marvel Zombies card, and you could replace it with this card. So you just for free get a 6-star card that's also going to give you 1% attack speed as a collection bonus. You can see here. This is really good. Yeah, so I'm actually quite happy about this. This is a really good bump up for newer players. Obviously, for players who already have 5 established cards, this is just more fodder. But I think this is great. It also has good optionals. Like, I'm not going to get into the weeds here, but you can roll energy attack or physical attack on the 3rd option. You can roll an energy attack proc on the 4th option. You can roll dodge on the 5th or crit damage, and then you can roll all attack on the 6th option. So this is a really good card for newer players. And like I said, it's really the cooldown ignore defense, which is just like mwah, so good. And then they're going to be adding second potential tickets, which allow you to take characters from level 70 to 80. Only, of course, for characters who can already go from level 70 to 80, and it's not going to be able to be used on native tier 2, native tier 3 characters. We already have this from 60 to 70, which are the potential tickets. So they're just adding them in for 70 to 80 now so that they can sell them in packs and bundles. It's these ones right here. It's basically the same thing there. And that's it. However, that's it, but there are some new event stuff. So we already talked about this, the 50% off. There's also going to be an 8-year homecoming token event. It's a 7-day event where you're going to be able to collect, I believe, 650 tokens or something like that. Sorry, I was like really sleepy when I tried to do the math on this. But yeah, you do these 4 and it gives you 140 tokens once. So that's a total of 280 times 2. So it's 560 tokens. And then you get 70 tokens, 10 tokens per day for 7 days. So I think it's like 630 tokens, something like that. 650, 630 tokens. I don't know. But you get about 600 tokens. Anyways, you also get some other rewards here, some tier 3, tier 2 materials. And then you can swap those tokens for a mega tier 2 ticket. You can swap tokens for a Titan record selector for a book, or for some tier 2, tier 3 materials, or for some energy hidden tickets. So people that were complaining or worried that we only got 1 mega tier 2 this year instead of 2, here's where the second mega tier 2 is. And we also got those extra crystals, which is really, really nice. And then there's an energy bonus mission, nothing new here, but still good. hero growth bonus mission for Sharon. There's also a crystal reward ranking for Sharon, which is quite nice. Usually they don't do crystal rankings for free-to-play characters. Like they just did a crystal ranking for Thanos. So if you have a high ranking on Sharon, maybe you're going to want to compete and keep that one to grab some extra crystals. And then we have the World Boss Legend event. I absolutely love this event. One of the best. You get a free Odin's Blessing for just doing it 14 times. And then you get a bunch of gold, tier 2, tier 3 materials. Absolutely love this event. Really glad that they're bringing it back month after month. And then we have some login stuff. So yeah, that's the update. That's what it looks like. That's going to be dropping tonight and tomorrow morning. So get excited for that and stuff like that. And then, yeah, in the meantime, hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think of the new and improved Sharon. Is she going to bus or double bus? Or triple bus? Who knows? The rare triple bus. Thanks so much for watching. Smash the like button, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.